All right, starting slightly early because um, I'm doing some stuff that is not writing, and I'm hoping to finish this up very fast. But we'll see, I guess. Tools script editor. I don't have that because they changed it. Okay, maybe I'm not doing this. There's apparently a there's apparently the functionality to just count by color is not. You know what? I'm doing this dumb way. Okay, I'm gonna undo all this. I'm gonna like not do this as like an app script. Leave that. That's fine. Whatever. Okay. So have mine to the left. We'll just delete this sheet. The way to do this is not to do this by color. The way to do this is just have a frickin' field. So we're gonna have a status field. I'm just doing some cleanup now because this has been annoying me. There's like another thing to clean up that I don't want to clean up. But got to get your ducks in a row. Especially this, I should say, this. That's a terrible pun. This doc is now public facing. I will share the link into chat. Okay. And you know what? Make sure that this can actually just not have a color. So someone pointed out that homostasis appears in here twice. My hand is feeling totally fine. I actually do need to do my hand exercises first. I'm going to do that. It takes like 5 seconds, but it helps stretch the tendons out. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, great. Thanks for the reminder. So yeah, I'm just doing some cleanup, but I started slightly early, so we're gonna call these first pass, which is more or less accurate. There's some to-dos. I don't generally, if I have to-dos remaining, I don't consider it first pass, but whoops. And yes, this is the fastest way to do this. No, I don't know. There might be a faster way. I don't understand why they don't let you do colors. And actually, do I want a separate category for story? Here, I'm gonna do story. These are different enough that I want them to have their own category. And yes, I know I'm just like screwing around with a really not that important Excel spreadsheet at the moment, but I'll be done soon. And then the green ones can be not started because they have not been started. Okay, fine. Okay, and then that's everything that needs to be done here. And then I'm just gonna make a sheet 2. Rename this to stats. Rename this to exclusions. So we want not started, we want first pass, we want second pass, we want story. And then these can go down, up. So yeah, equals sum. All right, here's some embarrassing Googling. I don't use Google Sheets. It's sum of okay, no, actually, I should be able to just grab code that's not code, but grab the thing that's in my word count tracker somewhere. No, this is it's the Glimwarden word count tracker. Dungeons. Here. Okay. Yep, this is just count if, and then we want it is G. This is except it's not upcoming, it's okay, great. That is easy peasy. And then I'm just gonna do that for the rest of these real quick, and then we'll get started with the actual writing stuff. The actual writing. Okay. I use an extension called Darker. What's it called? I use an extension called Dark Reader, and for whatever reason, maybe this isn't Dark Reader. Maybe this is something else. No? Black? No? Okay. Okay, just give me that, and then change the color. Okay. Now that can actually be read. So, 34 not started. 10 story not started. 34 our first pass. So we are approaching, and probably this not started is going to get cut down. I was thinking in the shower today, showered right before the stream. I was thinking that there are some examples of scope creep. If you've ever done software development, scope creep is the tendency for a project to grow in size as you do it, and you're like, oh, hey, we could add on this feature, and like pretty easily, and then you say, oh, let's add another feature, and the features keep getting added on. That's feature creep. Scope creep is slightly different, but this is just by analogy. So the scope creep or feature creep in this case is I'm like, oh, I should add like a picture for every one of these zones. I should add some pictures for that are just like generated by Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or something for all 80 exclusion zones. And I don't know why I would do that to myself. I guess I would do it to add value to this thing and to make it more easy to like post on slash world building or whatever. People love pictures. They love to upvote pictures, and you just say, hey, this is my like thing, and then like you lead them to the text, and you trick them into reading the text. So this one is not going to be the Jurassic Park one. I do want to do a Jurassic Park one. I'm not sure I will, but Dreamwalking is down there. This is definitely not in person. It is definitely major. So yeah, the other example of creep on this project is the addition of exclusion zones that like aren't known to people, and like the dead exclusion zones. Like I think possibly all, what is this, 10? All 10 of these could be axed, and it wouldn't impact the work. I think they're like interesting ideas, but this represents like another week and a half of working on this project when I could be working on, well, I don't know. I don't know what would replace it, or what's going to replace this. I'm gonna have to think about that. I would like to keep the, if I stream like an hour a day, I kind of enjoy that. Breaks up the day and helps get things done, at least so far. Although streaming is like the thing that gets cut before anything else. Oh, Greater Blasphemy is minor. Do I like that? I think I do. Anyway, so this is the Blasphemy exclusion zone. This is if I do one today, it's this one. So I should try a copy of the actual prompt here, but the idea. Okay, it's right here. This is technically the associated magic is curses. Well, see, I do have fun ideas. I also feel like Mulger is lonely right now. But yeah, if I'm feeling exhausted with doing this like 5 or 6 days a week, I want to get the exclusion stock done. It's been like one of the two things for Worth the Candle. It's just been kind of hanging over my head, and I have the other, relatively minor editing stuff and publication stuff to deal with on Worth the Candle as well. But I want to get this and the speedrun done, because those, like, I don't think me saying the speedrun's not going to happen would piss a bunch of people off, but I think it would piss some people off, but I think people would understand about this. This one was supposed to be a Patreon reward, and I just underestimated how much I didn't want to do this. I think because it's so repetitive, but doing one a day helps with the repetition for me. I want to say this is late. We're going to say this is like, you know what? 413 FE radio invented. I'm going to say 414. Okay. Oh, so I actually mentioned yesterday, you can see, if you you might have seen yesterday that if you go here, there is in fact a chapter for gods. It's not finished, so there's a draft chapter that AO3 is storing for me. And I saw that yesterday, and I was like, ugh. I do need to add that into. It's just kind of redundant. It's redundant with Worth the Candle, because it doesn't add that much to it. But yes, that technically is too. I might do that one on stream as well. But that should take like at most 1 day to do. And then I guess you got to ask yourself, why, if that would only take 1 day, has it in fact taken, an entire year or whatever, but whatever. Try not to stress about it. Multi-magic exclusion with the other half excluded. So, one of the ideas for this is that this is an exclusion. Like, this is called the greater blasphemy zone, which implies a lesser blasphemy zone, and that is entirely Bacon Time's invention, I think. Because it needed a name on the map. If it has a name on the map, I should actually find out where it is, but I like this idea that this got hit by a partial exclusion, and then it got hit by a full exclusion later, and so the lesser blasphemy zone is closed, and then we can include another closed one. Yeah, it's right here. We can include another closed one. Just kind of nested in this one. And I like that idea. So, blasphemy as an exclusion zone. Was I on something else? I might have been. Blasphemy as an exclusion zone is words of power. It's very, very common fantasy trope. The interesting thing that we're doing here is adding like grammar and sentences and stuff. And I think the main feature of this is going to be okay. I think that's the direction that this is going. I need to. Some of these are history focused, and some of them are features focused. Like some of them, the history is just going to be a single paragraph, ideally. Others, it's going to be much longer. But blasphemy will be a magic, curses magic. That suffered an exclusion and then suffered the second exclusion, and then the first exclusion zone is defunct. But yeah, I think we're going in the direction of words of power. And I think this might be an AI analog, or maybe not an AI analog, but a, uncontained knowledge type thing. Not in the mimetic sense, but something similar. I like that. It's interesting. It's there's not a bunch of those in the doc so far, so I'm not worried too much about the repetition angle, which I know I bring up every single stream, but I do think it's the greatest pain point for this project. Double check the Discord is not on fire. Okay. It's Saturday. People shouldn't be starting stuff. Character note about Shia. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I don't know if I'm gonna do that because it feels like it spoils stuff from the book in a way that does not properly hint. That doesn't like entice. Sorry, I gotta turn my phone off. Or not off, but silent. And then make sure my computer is silent. Should do all this stuff before the stream, but whatever. I'm fine with this doc containing spoilers. I just want them to be the right kind of spoilers. I want them to be the kind of spoilers that if you've not read Worth the Candle, will make you want to read Worth the Candle and in some way enhance through dramatic irony or whatever your reading of the thing. That's kind of a secondary concern for me because I just don't think that's I don't think that this doc is going to be like a pathway into Worth the Candle for all but like at most 5 people. I do care about those 5 people, but not so much that I'm gonna. I don't know. I'll think about this, and I will think about. I will probably think more about making a Juniper note. I find words of power boring. Not so boring I don't use them, but as tropes go, I have issues with them, which is good fodder for a Juniper note. Juniper is only like kind of a self-insert, but in some ways, like the way he is most like self-insert, I can just say my opinions on especially D&D related stuff. And then other times it's like opinions that I held as a teenager or, just dumb stuff you thought. History. Yeah, this is in theory a published book that in theory shouldn't have. I'm not worried too much about the frame for this, but it is worth thinking about. And yeah, I want this to have the most interesting stuff in it, and will bend the frame for that purpose. I want it to be interesting and compelling, and I want you to read one of these and be like, "Oh man, that's cool," or at least to get something out of it. So yes, there is a frame. I think I'm going with the frame that this is a book published by the Infinite Library, but I don't even know how much that's going to be put into the document itself. I think it can just exist as it is and just not like directly tell the reader its provenance. But, you know, obviously you'd know if you watch the stream or whatever. Um, I could definitely scope creep again and be like, oh, I'm going to write a short story where they like actually find this book. You know that I love scope creep. Uh, I was ragging on it earlier, but then I was like, yeah, what if we do all this other stuff? Which is a lot of the time how scope creep happens, or you know, feature creep. How creep happens. I don't like saying just creep though. It doesn't. It feels like super imprecise. Yeah, vignette set in a zone. The idea for that was to just basically replace one of these entries or more of these entries with just a short story. Because I like short stories. They short stories are almost impossible to sell. Um, like I try not to care about the money stuff too much, but it's also like I wrote a novella, Contrado, that I was like very happy with, and I feel like people just will not read that stuff. Maybe it wasn't good. That's also a possibility. But like every short thing, it's so hard for them to get attention and traction and stuff like that. So yes, it does appeal to me to nest a short story into one of these entries, or just replace an entry with one of those. Is that the end of my sentence? I think it is. That it does interest me. I'm not sure I'm going to do it, but I do also like playing with the format of, especially a doc like this. I like that Fen basically takes over one of these. I'm not sure I like the writing there. I think that I wrote that and I was like, yeah, this isn't good, um, which happens. I try not to sniff my own farts metaphorically. Uh, um, so yeah, it is like on the list. It's also another example of scope creep. Uh, um, so common spells here refers to there's like a handful of spells that everyone knows that you can just do, and it's in some ways an example of early installment weirdness. but I still kind of liked it as a background thing, which was why I kept it in. And I'm fine with little early installment weirdness type stuff, or just stuff that's not explained, stuff that like adds to the magical feel, and then you don't get to a point where you're like, oh yeah, I know what that is. That was for Worth the Candle, fine by me. For other stuff, I'm not sure I'd make that same decision, but it felt like in the character of the work. Not these unstructured words of power. I gotta stop using specific effects. I almost deleted it, but then I didn't. Um, Before exclusion, any average person could become a suicide bomber by shouting some words. Yes. This result in the deaths of dozens. I was thinking a lot when I chose this number. I think that implies the correct thing, which is that there's like a larger than grenade-sized explosion. They writing and speaking gibberish had risk of explosion. Yes. But it needs to be, like, the correct things. Like, most languages would not have as, like, phonetic features the... And I'm not gonna map it out. Like, it is interesting. I just wanna... I like language stuff. Phoneme chart. This is a phoneme chart here, used by the IPA. This is just British English. I want like the full chart. No, show me the real chart. This. Oh my god, just okay. Yes, this is a phoneme chart. Plus should make it larger. No, fine. Should make it larger. So this is the phoneme chart. Like in theory, there are like this is all the sounds that are in the International Phonetic Alphabet. These are all the vowels that we make. So the idea is that all the languages on are avoid certain features, and I'm not going to map them out because I don't know enough about linguistics. It would take me hours to get something that could pass the sniff test, I think. But that there are certain like linguistic features and like syllables that that are not in English and other associated languages. And also, if I was going to say which ones it is, I'd have to like go through Worth Candle and have to double check every instance of a language that was used to make sure I was saying the right thing. So like, hey, you be really careful with using the retroflex approximant, because if you have like the retroflex approximant combined with I don't know, the like mid-close central, like you run the risk of creating some magical effect you didn't mean to make. That's the idea, and then the idea is also that I don't actually remember what the retroflex approximant is, but the idea is that there's enough of a combination, or there are prohibited combinations in the languages of ARB because of this, and most people aren't even aware of that. They just like know that there's certain sounds that languages don't have. Because any language that did have these features would have a lot of accidents. Maybe I should be writing this in the document too. Yeah, but I don't want to say which ones it is. Okay, you know, I'll think about that. But I'm open to that if it is interesting. But okay, so here's a second problem with this, which I haven't mentioned. This is just for humans. This is all like this is the shape of the human mouth right here. So this is the front of the mouth. This is the back of the mouth. This is where the mouth is closed, closed mid, open, and open mid. So this is the shape that your mouth makes basically and where the vowel sounds come from. So if we had different shaped mouths, or if we had like tubes that we used, I mean, we do have tubes we use to make sound, but you know, if we had like little horns we blew, or if we like blew our nose as part of our speech, this IPA alphabet is just for humans, right? Like there are in you know the you can just read the names of here. These are, you know, bilabial means two lips. Labiodental means you use your lips and your teeth. This ARB has a different phonetic alphabet that has to take into account different mouths, and it's one of the things that I didn't get too far into, but like a dwarf mouth is different from a human mouth and makes different, like the sounds sound different. Like if you want to make a th or a v, those are different sounds if you have different mouths. And I think it's mentioned in Worth the Candle that elf have teeth that are very sharp. Like I know that's mentioned, but this changes how their mouths make sounds, and so there are certain sounds, especially the dental, like they should not be able to do a th. So that's why they either talk with a lisp, which they are loath to do, or they avoid the th sound, which I tried to be consistent about. The specific type of elf that he's a dark elf. Henschel. The specific type of elf that Henschel has different teeth, so they can make the th sound. But there are a couple instances in Worth the Candle of elves speaking where they just avoid this sound. It's a sound aversion, which is very common for people who have speech impediments and stuff. And then like they can do a V but not an F. So falataire is actually valataire. You have to pronounce it. You have to pronounce the F without your tongue pressing against your teeth. Which I find interesting. But I don't like, this whole discussion didn't make it in. I will include some of that because I like the linguistic stuff. It's just, it would be much better if I picked specific, like the pharyngeal fricative. It would be better if I picked a couple of these to be on the phoneme chart for blasphemy, and then made sure that it didn't overlap too much. So English phoneme chart. I'm gonna pull up Vulgar actually. Vulgar is a language generation thing. So I do custom phonemes, and I just do all the ones from. Oh, here, phonology. So what you can do is you can just be like, hey, give me all the phonemes from English. Here are the illegal combinations in English. I don't care about stress patterns. And then I just hit generate, and it'll generate me something. Okay, so this phoneme chart should exactly match what English has. So English does not have the pharyngeal fricative. Right? Fricative. Oh, they don't even have pharyngeal on here. And then these are the valid vowels in English language here, which is the same as this chart down here. And then these are co-articulated ones, which I don't 100% remember what they are. All right, so does magic work after from recordings? Yes. Which I think is part of where it's going. I think actually, like, the recordings predate radio by quite a bit. Yeah, the th sound is very rare. It's a like dental in general. Like in theory, you could have a nasal dental, but it'd be, well, no, you couldn't have a nasal dental because of the way the mouth works, I think. See, it says nasal dental is a I think it's that's like, so your tongue is pressed against your teeth, and you're making a sound, which is different from if your tongue is pressed against your avelar or post-avelar ridge. So it's mm, mm, mm. Those are minorly different end sounds. All right, I'm gonna put this in my. I'm gonna at least make sure it doesn't overlap with English, but I'm gonna include some of these. Oh, I can't copy paste either. Okay. But yeah, this is my linguistics. My linguistics understanding is shallow, but it's deep enough to get by, especially for writing fantasy and stuff. It's easier to get by if I don't worry about actually saying what. Yeah. I'll pull that up. Wikipedia IPA chart. Oh yeah, they have the IPA chart with audio, which is amazing. This one doesn't have audio, but there is a chart of this where you can just click each thing and hear what it sounds like. Oh, bottom right corner. I actually don't need the audio. I just we are going to pick the. Make sure it's not here. The pharyngeal. Okay, yeah, no, right. It's a different page for it. It does not work through writing. It works entirely through speech. What if a writer misunderstands which symbols correspond to sounds? Then when they speak it, they would have a problem of some kind. Either the spell would not work, or it would create unstructured magic that would kill them. Okay, and I gotta turn audio on my computer back on. Hopefully this is not too loud.
Ha, aha, ha, aha.
Sorry, can you hear that?
Ha, aha.
You would think I just saw that word and I would know how to spell it. The pharyngeal non-sibilant fricative. Non-sibilant fricative. IPA consonants sound off to you. Some of them sound off to me too. I mostly just need to make sure that these sounds are not used in English. I don't really like. I have so technically I do like have and could pull up the. Okay, so this is I don't think I've ever shared this before. This is Groglear. Um, all Groglear words and sentences are based on this. Uh, Based on this, I try not to copy directly. Sometimes, like a Grogler word is just from within this chart of what every word means, and I try to like slam something together that I think has a nice sound to it, because this is just auto-generated language. This is vulgar language. It's a language generator. So this is the Grogler file that I have saved on my computer. And so I do also need to make sure that the sounds are not in this chart either. So long as I have English and Groglear covered, I will consider myself to be fine. No one is ever going to check this. The people who know enough about linguistics to check this, and who are also going to read the exclusions document, is very, very small. But I do want to pass the sniff test at least. And then if someone, because the Groglear chart is not shared with anyone, glottal fricative. I don't need to worry that much, and I don't think anyone is ever going to try to speak Groglear, but I do want it to be. I have that desire for things to be correct. And then they're not phonemes, they're a blaspheme. Oh, that's brilliant. I'm going to say often with repetition. Um, the adjective fricative. What even is that? The adjective fricative. No, that's sorry. I know this is not the adjective fricative. I've got way too many of these open. The front low that's just a constant. Okay, here the this is a too many tabs problem for sure. For sure. And I did not include the thing about non-human species. My idea had all. I'm going to close all this because that's as much work as I want to put in. Boop, boop, boop. Goodbye, Grogler. Never going to see you again. All right, that's a good digression. I do feel good about including that. Oh, shoot. I should not have closed all the tabs. There's a special... Oh, you know what? I can just search this. Copy. Oops. Why is this here? Pharyngeal. No, I want the... Fine, just give me the chart again. Stupid chart. Okay. The pharyngeal, non-sibilant frictive. I just want that symbol. That's all I want. There. I think this also looks nice as a digression. Like, it is meaningful and it looks nice. And it's interesting enough, like, for being a paragraph long. I know the amount of talking I did would have filled, like 5 paragraphs. But we're just going to do that single paragraph. I'm going to open my window. It's getting hot in my office because the day is warming up. So I like streaming earlier in the day. Okay. What am I doing? Okay. A All right, linguistics digression has put us past 1 hour. That is fine. This is definitely one of those where I'm spending a lot more time either talking or research and stuff. I guess I'll call it research. It's stuff I already like, kind of know. Um, I'm worried I'm mentioning the. Oh no, this is before the wars. Last. Oh, I got a notification on Discord, which is Stable Diffusion, which I thought I told not to ping me. That's a bunch of stuff. Okay. Notification settings. Nothing. All right. Well, I guess they can just still everyone ping me. Okay, fine, whatever. As literacy was widespread. A streamer mode. Well, like normally it's fine, and I do want to be able to, because my wife and I use Discord as our main thing with chatting for each other. In part because Google Hangouts started to suck. So if I get a message from my wife, I'm for sure gonna like read that. And you know, sometimes the servers needs attention. I mod 2 technically. I don't spend as much time on the R Rational Discord anymore. It's kind of, I don't know. But yeah, I do want to be able to get pings. I don't want irritating pings that are just about stuff I don't care about. Although I actually do care about Stable Diffusion. But I'm gonna get it set up on my graphics card. I got a new graphics card a while ago, and it's a perfect use case for it. All right, what am I doing? As literacy was widespread. Okay. But fully 75% of both sides. Warfare in Worth the Candles hardly ever addressed at all, and sort of left as an exercise to the reader. Like large scale wars just don't happen, basically in Worth the Candle, in that like time period. And what a war looks like when you've got like 40 different magic systems, I think is a little beyond me. So I leave this stuff vague because partly because it's so much work. Partly it's because it's like work that even if I did the work, I wouldn't be assured of a good result. I wouldn't. I like if I tried to put in the work of trying to game like relative prevalence of magic, prevalence of magic in different areas, like where are these wars happening? Is there actually massed combat? It's basically too much stuff to work out. Like you would have armies of golems marching around at this point in history. You would have giant warping effects. You would have like I'm not sure a siege could take place even. So this is one of those things that I try my best to write around. I'm not happy with it, but I think like Worth the Candle is burdened by its magic systems, but that's also one of the like selling points of it. It's one of the things that makes it cool, in my opinion, anyway. So we try not to, yeah, tail and Ted's for sure. I try not to worry about it too much, but also try to write around it if possible, so that just because if I tried to put in the work, I don't think the result would materially improve. I think people would have a lot of criticisms over it. I do try to make sure everything makes sense. Try to write rational fiction, I guess, but it can be very difficult, especially because like medieval warfare. It's not even medieval warfare though. It's like fantasy medieval warfare, which is with like 40 magic systems. Just can't really do it. Someone who is not me could spend the months doing it, but warders are busier, yeah, and like dibbling was a thing at this point in history, as a like snap warding type of business. We're gonna say 58 FE. Do we call this curses or do we call this blasphemy? I think we just standardized to blasphemy. And it's called curses on the character sheet though. Which is fine. It is fine for them to be different names between the two of them. Okay, yeah. Oh, blah blah blah. So we do radio. Oh, this is an idea that I had just now. Ward on. Because this is one of those things I think is neat. Oh, there was a different idea that which is I had that idea last night and I thought it was neat. I don't know if that's going to be included in there, but it's those little things that I love writing for. Essentially kill. Essentially killed. So I'm liking this so far. Oh, Jesus, this is long. Why do I write such long things? I don't think it's longer than it needs to be. It's 800 words. It's 800 words, but there's still a lot to go, because this is just like the lesser blasphemy exclusion. Or lesser blasphemy zone. What makes it different from invocation? Invocation is specific. Invocation is about the word. Blasphemy is about the structuring of things, like the structuring of these individual syllables to make concrete things. Maybe I need to go reread invocation. You know what? I'll do that later. But blaspheme is also really good to search for. I'll reread invocation later and make sure that there's not that much overlap from it. But I like the idea of invocation being less about, or being more about, like a dictionary of words, and blasphemy being more about structured sentences. Like this was the starting point. This was the starting prompt for myself. It's words and grammar and sentences and like whole arguments as a spell in a way that invocation wasn't. Like the invocation exclusion is literally just like being able to make a specific word. Does that distinction make sense? Like that it's in one you're reading words from a. Yeah, blasphemy is not meant to be strictly elemental either. That's another difference between the two. But in terms of their core identity, I guess. That one is like you have a list of words, and the other is like you have to construct a sentence using individual words. I need to reread invocation. But if I have to distinguish between them, then that is it. Or if they're similar, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the invocation is not. Invocation is not really the exclusion. I mean, the exclusion is heavy winds that are at least partly propagated by some trees, which is cool. But the blasphemy is much more about the actual magic system itself. Like invocation is the background for the Whiffle exclusion zone. I'm hoping that they're different enough that you don't read one and then the other and be like, this is crap. This is just like the same idea over again. Because that's lame. That's lame to read the same idea over again. You want them to, but an inevitable problem with having like between 60 and 80 of these. Is that, yes, you will run into issues of repetition. Or at least I will, because I'm just not that creative, I guess. Okay. Um, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely only doing this one today because it's a long boy. Uh, but I gotta finish it. I gotta finish it because I don't like coming back to these and finish them later. They should be one and they should be able to be finished in a single session where I can just hold everything in my head at once. Um, so brief digression, not going to be included here. They had radio technology for like I think it was like a decade or two, and used it on ships, but it was used to transmit Morse code and other stuff like that. And like that you couldn't talk over the radio and stuff like that. But you couldn't like hear music or anything. You would just hear the dots and dashes of Morse code. But then Marconi invented the whatever it is that allows like an actual radio signal to be transmitted. And the interesting thing, like the story that gets told, is that instead of like this was compatible with the existing equipment. You didn't need a new receiver for it. You just needed a change in the transmitter. And so what happened was you had these people on ships and these people listening to their radios for. This might be time for an anagram, yeah. You had these people who were on ships and they were listening for their dots and dashes, and all of a sudden they were hearing violin music coming through this device that had before only done beeps, which is like super super cool to just be like, oh hey, this technology that we have been using for like a decade that we've been trained in is suddenly like people are just like you're just hearing someone's voice over it. It's like the coolest thing. Relatively unknown story, but happened in New York City, I believe. Uh, but it's the kind of thing that if you included it in fiction as like a plot point, I'm not sure people would buy it. It's like, yeah, this like Marconi, yeah. Hopefully that relation of the story, I didn't. It's the kind of thing that if I were like typing it out, I'd look it up and double check myself. But it was one of those things I read about and it really struck me, and I was like, oh, I can use this. And the problem with using it is that it's not believable. So unfortunately, no one would believe the truth. Um, I unfortunately don't think that I'm going to use an anagram here because the person who invented the radio is well, okay, Elmo Luigi. Uh, this is my preferred anagram finder. Get me some anagrams. Do you not have anagrams, or are you just working? Wordsmith, I'll make an exception for you. Try one more time without ad block. Ugh, why would you do this? This would be my favorite site. But maybe it sucks now. Okay, moving back to this. I'm not gonna stress on that too much. I do like the anagrams. I like the plays on words and stuff. It is part of the character of Worth the Candle. Radio is on an entirely different level, and with a number of radios cropping up through different cities, and the okay, this we don't need. This we don't need. Alright, we're gonna do the, like, I'm gonna put this in as a placeholder. I'm gonna see if I can find something better, but oh god, just paste without formatting. I wish you could just tell it to paste without formatting. Oh, okay. Immunological erg. A company called Gallium Ergonomic. A company called I don't know what immunologic means. I know what immuno means, and I know what logic means. I don't know what immunologic means. A company called Gallium Ergonomic. Okay, I like this better. I'm sorry, Bacon Time. It's one of those. It's easier to miss. It's like, I don't know. I just like gallium ergonomic because it doesn't make sense. Also, it's like why first of all, what is an ergonomics company? They just make ergonomic devices. Okay, I'm not going to look at that list too long. And this is a minor exclusion zone. Oh yeah, it's definitely not called inter. Yeah, too many. I've said before, too many projects at once. It's like five things I'm working on right now. 6, maybe, if you include the thing I'm not talking about yet. That is maybe not happening. That's way too strongly worded. We say nearly 2 decades. This would be 432 FE. I don't think it's listed on here. The Valley of Cards. Oh, is this Tarot Magic? It must be. Sorry. I'm getting distracted by the map. Okay. Should be added as addendum. I don't even know what that means. Next one I was gonna do is Dreamwalking. Dreamwalking style. I definitely can't. I'm almost at 2 hours. That's a long time to be sitting and writing without a break, and to be working on this single thing. It got instantly excluded. Yes. And this is also one of those exclusions where it wasn't going to destroy the world, but it would cause such significant damage and change and destabilization to the world that exclusion was necessary. From the standpoint of one of the like quasi deities, like the Warden, within the canon of Worth the Candle. Like sometimes exclusion happens like that. In theory, in practice, I think that's a good addition here that clarifies and adds an example. Do we have like a map? Opinion packet. I do love tapas. District. Blasphemy is incompletely described, and I know that, and part of that is because, like with a lot of magic systems, the most obvious thing to do is just to build a bomb. And so if a lot of it's going to be bomb building, I don't really want to describe a magic system that just blows shit up, you know? Like, why design it if you can just say that's the end result, or to imply that that's the end result. So like, does a beam of power shoot out from these radios? Is it like a strict? Is it a strict explosion? Is it? There's like more interesting things you could do. You could like, if the effect can be anything, you can just like turn people and buildings to stone, which would of course have practical and material applications. It could vaporize things. It could cause fires. I think it's going to be underspecified here because I don't know how interesting that is. I think the interesting thing is the like turning every radio into a bomb. I think that by itself is interesting. I don't think the radios can keep. Oh, you could say their podcast bombed. Yeah. A powerful enough transmitter could turn many objects into close this. I swear this is a real thing, but I wanted to double check. Sorry, I'm just doing research. This is my favorite part of writing. It's sorry, I said that sarcastically, but it is one of my favorite parts of writing. So it's not. It's like a non-sarcastic answer. All conductive structures, whatever their intended purpose, behave as accidental transmitting and receiving radio antennas, whether we want them to or not. Yes. Okay, I just need to clarify this. I know almost nothing about engineering. I know almost nothing about a lot of things, and I just try to read up enough that I'm not talking shit. This applies equally to conductive liquids inside insulating pipes. A powerful enough radio antenna or radio transmitter is what I'm hearing will turn your blood into a radio. That's amazing. I don't know if that's actually like the upshot of. I feel like you'd run into a lot of problems before your blood turns into a radio receiver. Like a lot of problems before that point. But it would be hilarious. I've got a part written. It's like a half-written novel called "The Gift and the Burden," where they have the magic system is somewhat similar to this, to what's being described for blasphemy. More rigorous, but I'm not like trying to reuse pieces of it here. It's more rigorous and slightly different. But the like weapons of mass destruction. I'm gonna try to keep this in mind because it's the kind of like absolutely crazy thing that I love. Resonant accidental antennas. Okay, I didn't read all this, but just so long as it's a thing that happens. What do they call it? Antennas. Why does it link to this? Shortwave radio station that broadcasts on this frequency, short monotonous tone repeated at the rate of 25 tones per minute. Like, I don't want to know any of this. Over the horizon radar system. That's early warning. Let's double check nature here. I think I'm gonna wrap this one up. Okay. I think this is good. I think this is good for a minor zone. I think it's fine. I didn't include the thing about blasphemers' assistance squirting water. I didn't include that. But I don't think that's... You know what? I can include... If I'm going to do a Juniper's note, I can include that. Yes, transmitters would, in theory, run out of power. It depends on who's... So this happens in 423. That's like 90 years. You can't run on soul power for that long. I think the longest you can run on soul power is actually 3 years. But you can have other autonomous power sources are available within the world of Worth Candle, and some of these stations might be being run or powered unbeknownst to different people. I'm not actually sure why ghost radio stations exist. They're like radio stations that aren't... they're not claimed by anyone, but like obviously they were set up to be continually running. Like who's servicing these stations? Maybe they're just not being serviced at all, but they like don't get interrupted. But yes, and also the wording here. The conflict has now largely passed implies that someone could be, as part of the continuation of the conflict, in ensuring that there's the transmitters keep going. This is in an expanded glossary of terms for the exclusions, this would be a conflict exclusion, where much of the danger is from other people who are in the zone, rather than anything that's sort of natural to the magic. There's a problem with this kind of with that kind of thing that was just written there, which is that I'm saying that something that I have made is cool. This is a real problem in, for example, 1434 whatever. That's 700 words an hour for 2 hours. That's I will be happy enough with that. I gotta stretch my fingers and stuff. I gotta mark this as Dunzo. Boop. And then because I changed this, this is now first pass. So there's a problem with in this used to be about dungeons. There's a problem with Verity and characters like them where you have them sing a song and then you are also commenting on that song. And I try to do that as little as possible because it's like I write some lyrics and then I'm like, ooh, those are good lyrics, and it's just like it's cringy, is what it is. It's cringy and it's a problem, but it's a hard problem to avoid. 414. I'm also going to do a little bit of cleanup here. Formerly ink and ardor. Conjoinery? Yes, we'll do conjoinery next time. Nope, full thing. Yeah, but it's like this cringy thing where you're like, oh, this thing that I have written, that I have done, is in fact cool. But for especially if you have someone who like writes songs or anything that's going to be included in the work itself, you just kind of need it. You kind of cannot get away. 254. You can't get away with like just not commenting on it. Okay, Mendel. Yeah, I'm just doing cleanup right now, and I'll just be talking while I do this like busy work. Okay, fine. Paste without formatting. Thank you. And it was included here because I do think it's like a Juniper thing to say, and I do think it is cool and true. But it's one of the things I'm very, very aware of, that like commenting that your own stuff is like that sort of meta commentary is cringy. 436. That was the only approximate one, I think. That is some early installment weirdness. Conjoinery? I don't know. I will look up conjoinery as the last thing I do. I will try to. Zentria is 91. Ooh, demiplanar. Demiplanar is just called demiplanar. Sure. I'm trying to make sure that everything in here is up to date and matches the actual doc, because this is the kind of thing that sucks to do later. 47. I mean, in theory, it sucks to do now, but. Semblance. I remember that now. 9 FE. I'm not going to update all these descriptions because, like, groove castings excluded late Second Empire. This doesn't tell us anything. Blue in the bottle. 276. Blue fields is 426. Is that it? No, we have chthonic or thonic, thanic. And that's it. I'm going to remove these. I'm going to remove... no, what I'm not going to remove them. I'm going to say, not doing. And then I can come back to these later. They will still be in the thing. Okay, done. Just eliminated like a week of work for myself. Oh, it was pointed out that homostasis is a magic and it's an exclusion zone. I believe what I did. I believe that this is not a duplicate. I believe that what it is there's an associated magic called homostasis, which is the Laloni or whatever it is, exclusion zone. And then there's an exclusion that's named the homostasis, which is a different thing. And the reason there are two different things was just to be confusing. Not just to be confusing, but like I must have thought it was funny at some point. Like that sounds like me, right? That I thought that was hilarious, and then I said I would think about this. I didn't. I said I would think about this, and then I didn't. It's because I've been working on other stuff. So I sit there at night and I've got like 7 projects, and I don't think about them all. Okay, so project check. Add not doing field. No. G, and then we not doing. Okay, and then not started as that color. Story is that color. First pass is red. Okay. So we have 35 first pass. We have 24 left. That's very optimistically. That's 12 streams. Extremely optimistically. And then more likely, 15 to 20 streams. Okay. See, I put that as a joke for myself, and I still find it funny. Okay. So, set myself up for next time. That's the last thing I do when I am on any project. I gotta figure out which one of these is going to be the Jurassic Park one. If I'm going to do one. I do want to do one, because I love Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is like, for me, a 10 out of 10 film. Okay, so there's going to be dream walking, and what did I say for next time? I said conjoinery. So we'll do conjoinery. Not in person. Not in person. I think dreamwalking is not on the map. Utherian exclusion. Unknown location. And then I need to, I am gonna, this is making the stream go long, but, okay, sorry, I turned my volume off and then I turned it back on for the IPA thing. Okay, nope. Not searching through 304 hits for that. What I need to do is I need to look up the exact difference between, or the exact thing that is said about dreams, because Raven can't dream and Uther can't dream, and the reason is that the Lord of Dreams... Maybe I can search Lord of Dreams? Because like, she says it's not an exclusion. Why is this in the exclusion doc? I don't know. So either this, you know, maybe this dreamwalking thing. Okay, and then I'm going to search Plane of Dreams. The author of the book would not know it's not an exclusion. So, oh, it gets mentioned here. Oh, it gets mentioned here, and I need full work. Nope, dreams. And then we can include this in our notes for ourselves. Okay, that is all good. So yes, this is going to be a description of an exclusion that is not an exclusion, and then we'll have a note from Raven explaining that fact, or clarifying that fact. That actually the mirror magic. What is mirror magic? I need a refresher. It has been a year since I've written Worth the Candle. Mirror is going to give me too many hits, though. Yeah, 123, I'm not going through that. I would if I were not streaming, and not at the end of the stream. Plane of Mirrors. The Plane of Mirrors... it does say before mirror magic was excluded. I might have to include mirror magic on here. Fudge. And it's not on this list. Why is it not on this list? Okay, we're gonna make an entry for it, and I'll try and figure out if I can see what happened with that. We're gonna say... Because yeah, mirror magic is definitely like mentioned here. Is Plane of Mirrors mentioned? Just mirrors? Okay, I don't know what's up with that. But it might be included. I don't think it's... it's not a character sheet list, so in fact it should not be here. Let's go boop, boop, boop. Boop. Gotta make the sound effects. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, anything else that I need to do? I'm gonna redo... Refresh myself. 1400. And then some cleanup work, which was necessary and good. And okay, so we have 25. That means this is almost exactly the halfway point. If I don't do any of the ones I say I'm not doing, I include them as not doing because I might actually, in fact, do them. So, yeah, I've totally forgot writing this. All forms of access to the plane of mirror. Like, this is interesting. So yeah, we'll call that one that needs to be in. I don't believe Mirror Magic was on the full list of skills, though. I'm not going to open it up right now. I'm going to be, in fact, done streaming and work on Dungeons, for which I owe a bunch of... I've got, like, backlog on that. Or not backlog, but I've got work owed, and it's due Monday morning. Ugh. It's due Monday morning, and I've also got to, like, read Dungeons for the publisher and, like, get some editing done on it. And ideally, I'd like to hand it to the publisher within the week so that they can get rolling, and I don't have anyone to... So I don't... so that's one less ball I have in my court. Okay, that's the stream for today. Hopefully it entertained you at least a little. So thanks for being with me. If you're watching on the VOD, thanks for watching. And no stream tomorrow. It's family day. It's family day is always Sunday for me and my family, unless we switch it around. I will probably stream on Monday unless I'm behind on my chapters for Dungeons, which unfortunately comes first. Not unfortunately, but does. Okay, yep, that's it for me.